Hello, my name's David Gibbs. I'm the director of Beaumont Gibbs Estate Agents based in Plumstead, South East London. Today I'm going to talk about overvaluing your property and the dangers of putting your property on the market for too much money. As an estate agent of 30 years plus, I do see a lot of issues, as you can imagine, with overvaluing your property. One such issue recently, another agent came in and valued it at £575,000, which was way over what the property should be worth. Now, what happened is that the owner, unfortunately, fell for the agent's convincing argument that their property was worth £575,000. That agent put the property on the market at £575,000. I kept in contact with the owner over the months. The property never sold. They reduced it down to £550,000, then they reduced it down to £525,000, and then they reduced it down to £500,000. And a few weeks ago, I spoke to her because I noticed the property had sold. And when I spoke to her and asked her how much she'd sold it for, she said she sold it for £475,000. Now, in that time, that property has lost value, because if she'd have put it on with myself at £500,000, I'm pretty confident that we would have sold it at that figure. And the problem is that when you put a property on the market, the first few months of putting your property on the market are the best times to actually market your property and get it sold. The longer it stays on the market, people will naturally assume that there's something wrong with it or it's overpriced, in which this case of this property, it certainly was. Now, what happens, agents should be able to justify to you what the price of your property is worth. Now, by law, by the property ombudsman guidelines, we have got to actually justify our valuation by looking at evidence of what's on the market and what's been sold. So when you get agents out to value your property, if you've got two agents saying pretty much the same sort of thing, and then you get one agent who says way above what the other two have said in price, ask them to justify that. Show you properties that have actually been sold and why they believe they can actually get so much more money than the other two agents have valued it for. Now, if they can show you the evidence of that, then there's no harm in testing the market if you believe it's a fair figure at that price. However, what I would say, and very importantly, is that you don't sign up for long contracts. Now, as an agent ourselves, we like to be flexible with our contract terms and offer between sort of 6 and 8 weeks as an average. So it gives us a fair amount of time to market your property without being tied into a very long contract, which I believe is unfair. A lot of agents now are asking for sort of 16-week plus contracts, and then you've got to give notice as well to come out of that contract. So really what they're trying to do more often than not is that they overprice your property to try and buy your business, and then 2 months down the line, and before that as well more often, is that they'll be working on you to try and reduce the price down to the figure that they knew it was probably worth in the first place. So I'm afraid, estate agents do get bad reputations, and unfortunately it still does go on. Obviously, I'm not going to name names as to who does these practices. Obviously, that's not in my nature to do that, but unfortunately that does go on. The business of a estate agency and obviously winning instructions out there is obviously very difficult. So a lot of time, unfortunately, agents, the only way they can try and get the business is to overvalue your property. So if you're going to put it on for the higher price, only sign up for, say, 4 weeks with that agent. So you can say to them, okay, agent A and B have both said my house is worth X amount of money. You've said it's worth Y amount of money. I've got my doubts whether or not it is worth Y amount of money, but I'm willing to give you a try, and only sign up for, say, 4 weeks without, and you don't have to give any written notice. So that agent's got to justify their price. So if it is worth that money, you've done the right thing, and they should better sell it in that 4 week period of time. If they don't, then you can go elsewhere. You've tested the market at that figure. They've proved to be obviously incorrect with their valuation, and then perhaps you can go back to agent A or agent B and see whether or not they can actually sell the property for you. So yeah, I know it's sometimes very tempting to put it on the market at the higher price, but more often than not, it's not the case. It doesn't work out, and you end up, in a lot of times, getting a very, very difficult scenario where your property sometimes is worth less than what it would have been sold for if you had put it on with the right price at the first time of asking. So hopefully that's been of useful information to yourselves. Obviously, if you've got any questions you want to speak to me about them, please give me a call. My number is 0208 319 7601. Once again, my name's David Gibbs, Director of Beaumont Gibbs Estate Agents in Plumstead.